I'm Ariel and I'm here today with Skully Designs for our 365-day project. We're on day 19 and I thought I'd make a special little treat for my sister's cat. I have to watch them all the time, so I like to do special things for them. You know, dress them up, put them in odd situations that freak my sister out. So today I thought we'd make some cute little fishy cat treats, and I made this template. We're going to fill it with some catnip and some stuffing, and they'll have a fun little toy to play with. So let me show you what we'll need. First, you'll need to either make yourself a template, or I will put this on our Facebook page and you can print mine out. I just hand drew this and cut it out. Normally I would put it on heavier paper cardstock, but I was all out, so today I just got regular old paper. You'll need a piece of fabric, just a small square to at least get two sides of your fishy. You will need a pair of scissors. I'm trying to reach it all. Catnip, a small index card, some polyfill stuffing. Now I just get the kind that you would use to make stuffed animals or stuffed pillows, kids' toys with. That would be safe. A marking chalk to mark your fabric. And if you want your mat, you can use your mat, your cutting mat. You'll also need a sewing machine. So let's get started. First, you're going to get your template, and you can, like I said, either make your own or print ours out. And then you are just going to take your fabric and I didn't prep anything in advance, so I have this huge large sheet here. So you're just going to put your template down like so and take your chalk around it. And you're going to make a pattern, and then you're going to flip it over and make another, and then cut that out. So let's get our pattern and our fabric prepped, and we'll be back. Okay, I've gone and cut out my pattern, so I have my two fish. I'm going to put them right sides facing one another and get them lined up. We're actually going to use pins too, which I did not mention before. And I'm going to pin all around, leaving a gap about 2 inches to turn it right side afterwards. So I'm going to leave a little gap at the bottom. I would not recommend leaving the gap at the tail, because with the angles it might be a little harder for you than to pull it through. So I would leave a gap at his belly side, either side. So right sides facing together, pin it up, and then you're going to sew it right at the edge of the foot of your sewing machine. So when you put it in, you just want on the edge and just follow around with a nice straight stitch. Make sure it's a back stitch, properly known as back tack. I always say back stitch when you start and when you finish, and don't forget to leave yourself that gap. So what I actually do is I start at the angle and then just stop, make sure my foot's down, turn, so I have one continuous loop going around, and stop, leave the gap, and finish it off. So I'm going to go ahead and pin and sew this, and we'll be back. So I have my little fishy all sewn up, and when I'm sewing and I'm leaving my gap, I don't stop sewing. I just back stitch and then lift my foot over, carry it over, back stitch again, and keep going around. And then you can just trim that thread after you're done, and you'll have your gap, and you won't have to like stop and go, stop and go. So now we're going to turn this right side and poke out all those little corners. You might want some assistance with like a pencil eraser, you know, the back of a pencil and the eraser, or a skewer or something to help you poke out his tail. I'm going to see if I can do it with just my finger here, because I kind of made my little tail a little skinny, scrawny. So You see, you might want to do something pointy and thin to help you poke some of that out. And once you get that, you're going to take your polyfill and you're going to pull it apart in little pieces a little bit because that'll stop it from clumping once you stuff it. And you're going to stuff your fish. Now you don't want to stuff him too much. We don't want him bulging because we're also going to be adding some catnip. So let's go ahead and get our fish completely poked out and we'll fill up some stuffing and then we'll be back. My fishy's all stuffed with the polyfill, and you don't need a huge bag like I had. That's just what I keep on hand. Obviously for this tiny little fish or the few that you're going to make, you only need a little bit. So the smallest bag you could buy of polyfill, or if you have some laying around, that's great. So I got him, as you can tell, I stuffed the tail pretty good just so he wouldn't be a flopper. But the rest of it, I just made it a little bit cushy. I didn't make it too stuffed or filled. Because now I'm going to take my index card and roll it up to make like a tube. And I'm going to put it in that hole. And this is just to make it easier to pour. And I'm push the polyfill around a little bit. And then I'm going to take my catnip and just pour it right in there. Just a couple tablespoon or so. You can actually fill your whole cat toy with catnip, but I think that's a little overkill for them and they just need a little bit, and you don't need your cat completely wigging out on the catnip or the fish. So I just fill it through the tube to the top and then let it sink in, put a little more polyfill on, and close her up. Now you can do a decorative stitch going around, or you can even hand sew a small stitch. I'm just going to actually fold this over and do a small blind stitch by hand. You can put eyes on it with thread. I wouldn't put too much though, or decorate it too much, because you don't want your cats getting anything they can be choking on or get hurt on. So no buttons, none of the frills, which some people would. I think it's a choking hazard to your pet though. You could also string it on a piece of yarn afterwards to dangle. Some people use fishing line. Again, I think the fishing line's a little dangerous for the cat. So if anything, just a simple piece of yarn. And you want to keep it not too long so that when you're not home, the cat won't get tangled or hurt himself. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my catnip in and sew it up, and I'll show you my final fishy. And here we go. We got a cute little fish that your cat will love, bat around and play with, filled with catnip for a special treat. Thank you for joining Skully Designs in our 365-day project. We hope you'll tune in for more. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out on Facebook. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy.